How to Create a Glitch Monologues Season 35 Chapter 5. This is Season 35 of How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix Monologues Episode 5. In this episode, we will be giving an example bringing together the last few seasons about what it is like to experience multiplicity. Let's say you walk into a small room, about 20 feet by 20 feet. There are two people talking, standing about arm's length from each other. The tall one is speaking and the shorter one listening. We will call the tall one person A and the short one person B. You are person C now. As the taller one is speaking, he is using his hands to express some complicated series of concepts. His posture is turned slightly away from you as you enter the room. Person B is mirroring him around some common point of orientation. As you approach, it occurs to you that his hand movements correspond to dialectical responses to a series of thoughts you had the night before about some engineering project you worked on. That is to say, his hand language expresses dual meanings, one linked to the expressions of his voice, and another linked to dialectical, unconscious thoughts you had the night before. Now, you join the conversation. The tall speaker turns towards the shorter person. He begins to speak about a new topic. But his speech is bifurcated. On the one hand, it possesses a contextual meaning, linked to his hand language. On the other, he is talking about some impulse you affirmed internally but negated externally, which is to say you chose not to act on it. Thus, for example, suppose you have a love interest, and you thought about kissing her whilst you went for a walk. But you repressed the impulse. Thus, the tall person is chiding you and encouraging you to act on your feelings with this love interest. At the same time, he is expressing contextual meaning. Now, the shorter person speaks. The taller person listens, and you notice that he is holding his face in a fashion so as to look up at the taller person. And his facial movements, their complexity don't match the narrative he is contextually speaking about. They reflect more closely the narrative about the love interest, a kind of playfulness to their movements. You are holding your tongue this whole time. You don't want to speak because the love interest is the shorter person. But you also know that what they are contextually talking about is some engineering project, not your personal feelings. Nevertheless, you inhibit the impulse to blurt out something which might give your thoughts away. Your posture changes, and you express negation with your posture, representing both internal and external negation, by holding back from the conversation, turning slightly away. Now, the taller person notices that you are holding something back from your body language. By drawing your attention through louder, more emotionally emphatic speech, and exaggerated movements corresponding to the expression of his attention on the shorter person, he draws your attention unconsciously to where his resides. And through this, the binding of your unconscious attention to the other, you become self-consciously an object, taking the place of a dominant. You begin to act out the consciously, unconsciously held impulses of the tonic, your love interest. Your multiplicity layers express narratives which affirm their qualities which you so desire. Now, further, people will try to unconsciously work the narratives of multiplicity into the linear timeline, just as parsimony does with dissonant consensualities. So, this means that the shorter person will unconsciously seek to facilitate the affirmation of your impulses by drawing them out through execution. This person will seek to provoke a confrontation in the contextual space. People are always attempting, though unconsciously, to uncover the narratives that parallel universes hide from us. That's why one of the most successful way of causing a glitch is by undermining the transition from parallel multiplicitous meaning into contextual meaning. This is a rough demonstration of the lessons of this season. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.